Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a hot take on Democratic rep who calls for Truth Commission to, quote, promote common narrative about politics and race. These people are children. They are children with no sense of the future. None. And of course, she's from California, Sarah Jacobs. She is now calling for a truth commission. Now, this is from the Gateway Pundit. They tend to be a little hyperbolic, but I've already heard this. You can see the picture right there. There it is. I think we need a truth commission. Now, what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, nothing will go wrong for you because you'll control the narrative and therefore be able to set everything in line with exactly what you believe in, you think. But the truth is, the actual truth is, you'll have no control over this. And if they tilt it one way or another and it doesn't agree with you, you'll be screwed, Sarah Jacobs. Just like, well, the rest of the Trump supporters, which I assume that's what all this is about. You cannot stand the thought that there are people out there thinking Donald Trump, hey, he wasn't that bad of a president. Not that bad. He was a monster. We saved democracy. I mean, these people do not deserve to be in power. This sort of assertion by a U.S. Congresswoman should have her censured. They should have her flagged to say, that's not what America does, Sarah Jacobs. You do not have a truth commission. Did these people not read 1984 or Brave New World or any of these future dystopia books? Were these people too busy reading White Fragility to read the warnings of George Orwell about this kind of thinking? Oh, we need a truth commission. That'll work because everybody knows the truth. Yeah, we could tell by the way you tried to impeach Trump and outright made up evidence during the impeachment. I mean, I have seen some pretty sham situations in my time. I've seen politicians lie. A lot of times they just mislead or they exaggerate a fact that is basically true, but they go too far. But what they did in the impeachment was literally to make up a quote. They made up facts and they doctored video and photoshopped a picture. That tweet that they showed did not have a blue check mark, and they were called out on it. They were called out again and again for their hypocrisy. What are these people trying to do? U.S. Representative wants to establish Truth Commission to create a common narrative. We all know what this means. Yeah, it means you better believe this or you're out of society. That's what it means. It means that if you don't believe this, you're a whack job. And there's something wrong with you, and we might have to send you to therapy. Oh, you certainly can't work at certain jobs. You certainly can't run for office. And you might have to be shamed publicly on Twitter or one of the many social media platforms. You know, sometimes people just believe in stuff and it's wrong. I had a friend many years ago, and he used to revel in the idea of telling people just outrageous lies to see if he could sell them. And he did. And he did it all the time. And this was in school. This was like in junior high, high school. But you know, some of those people went on to believe that stuff. You ever met someone who just doesn't know a pertinent fact, right? Trying to think of a specific one. Oh, all right. So I knew someone who didn't realize that the Big Apple meant New York City. Just didn't know that for whatever reason. Never crossed their mind. They didn't know. And then one day, somebody said, oh, you're going to the Big Apple, huh? And they went, what? The Big Apple. I don't know what that is. New York City. And It's stuff like that that people just don't know. And that's part of the problem with a truth commission. It assumes everybody knows the same stuff, and once you know all those things, you're good. And it's just not true. Right? What these people think are important or true is probably wrong on some level, at least some level. When people witness a crime, witnesses are notoriously fallible. They get things wrong, especially if they're in a group together and they start talking and one guy gets something wrong and they sort of feed on that energy and go down that path and they also get it wrong, but then they add another thing. It's like whisper down the lane. This is true with facts. Now, obviously, there are plenty of other facts that are true that can be proven with science. But even with science, it's been politicized by these people on the left. And Democrats have suckered that. So we have college professors, actual college professors, that state math is racist. That it's the problem with math is white supremacy. The problem with musical theory is white supremacy. The problem with mostly everything is white supremacy. And these people actually believe that, despite the fact there's no scientific evidence to back any of that up. So the idea that this Karen, Congresswoman Karen here, could have a truth commission, even if she was a well-meaning person, which I don't believe she is, it would just be an absolute disaster from beginning to end. As they say, truth, to some extent, is in the eye of the beholder. Actually, they say that about beauty. But it is true with truth. Truth is in the eye of the beholder. What is your truth? And I find it highly dubious that the same people who preach an ideology of subjective truth would say, oh, we need a truth commission and we'll settle this once and for all. That's impossible. What they're essentially saying is, we're going to come up with a bunch of things that you have to believe, and anyone who doesn't believe them, well, they're a kook. And now we know who the kooks are. No. And to some extent, this is a reaction to when the conservatives were in power. And they were very traditional, and they tended to be very stodgy. And some of their truths, well, they just weren't exactly true. Some of those traditions, were interpreted in different ways. But they were still interpreted by human beings who decided, well, they decided bad things about people of certain persuasions. I don't want to say it on YouTube because they're so censory recently. They would certainly have plenty of justification to censor guys like me. Oh my God. They would just be like, well, here's the 10 things you're supposed to believe. This was from the Truth Commission. Oh, you don't believe them? You don't believe 3 of them? Off you go, YouTube. I mean, they already have us censored about the election, about a certain whistleblower whose name you cannot say on YouTube, and a few other things. Cursing. This is not freedom of speech. This is censorship. And what the Truth Commission would be the ultimate censorship. It would be, we decide what you can think. And if you think it wrong, well, you're just not a good person. And you deserve everything you get. So no, Representative Sarah Jacobs, maybe go read a book. Maybe sit at home and think about this. Maybe stop trying to be such a partisan shill that you're this desperate to destroy Trump. He's coming back in 2024. And if he's not running, he'll certainly be a kingmaker. And there's nothing you could do about it. You can't destroy the man. You have 75 million people who won't let you destroy him. So this enterprise of yours is hurting you more than it's hurting Trump at this point. And over the coming years, we're going to see it worse and worse and worse. And you're going to come to a point in the road where you're going to have to go, well, do we do this? Do we really go that far? And I think some of you out there know what I mean by going too far. And once you go too far, there's no coming back from it. So no, the Truth Commission is a terrible idea. And if they decide to do it, and you don't do something about it in terms of writing to your congressman and emailing it, you'll have no one to blame but yourself.